So what's been the most difficult aspect you found about the renovation so far?
Most difficult. Cool. I will actually show you. So the most difficult, I wouldn't even say it was a problem per se, because I did my due diligence. But when it came to this area here, so this is like the kitchen dining kind of area. Like I wasn't sure whether I was gonna knock out this wall that you see behind you and sort of make it open plan or keep it as it is, because already we've kind of gone over budget. And with that, knocking out walls like this is basically like a structural wall, it's a main wall.
Yeah.
So it would require steels, getting in a structural engineer to write off certain things, and wrestling with the idea of making it open plan or not. That was my biggest problem, if you want to call it that, because obviously making houses open plan these days, especially when it's a Victorian terrace house like this, it's not common. So that would really push the value more, especially if you're trying to break the ceiling price, which is what we are trying to do. So that aspect of the refurb is what I struggled with most. I ended up not going open plan just so the end user that buys it, they could, if they wanted to, I don't know, use that reception room as a separate private space, like a study or whatever, they can. If I made it open plan, then they couldn't have that. And with this extension, it's already big enough. Yeah. So it does feel open, and it has that modern open feel already. It does. And that's why we've kept it as it is.
So how much like research and planning did go into you buying this house?
At first I'd say next to none. Because I've been watching like homes under the hammer and property videos on and off for years. Yeah. And I felt like I had a surface level of knowledge to the point where I can buy a house and kind of know what to do. So that being said, I bought this house at auction without necessarily knowing how to like price up a refurb, what goes into it, like what's the difference between plastering and skimming, whether it would need like a partial rewire or full rewire. Like I didn't really know any of those things back then. So I say all of that to say, like I did my research to an extent, but I didn't do as much as I should have in hindsight, because of that I've kind of, not even kind of, I have gone over budget. Yeah. I have gone over budget by like about 6 grand. But luckily there was enough of a buffer for me to make the mistakes and for it to still make sense. So it was just one of those lucky kind of mistakes, I guess.
You mentioned buying the house at auction. I've never really come across anyone who's bought a house by that method. How did you come across the auction?
Rightmove. So if you think about like eBay, it's not really eBay, but it's like it's the main platform for like buying and selling houses that estate agents and that use. So I was scrolling on Rightmove now, and I saw this house. Like I said, I had the original plan of turning it into like a student share house so I can rent it out room by room kind of. Yeah. And then because the Montfort University and University of Leicester are not too far from here, it fit that criteria. Yeah. And I was like, you know what, let me actually look at and view this house. So I went, clicked on the images. There were literally no images of inside, it was just a description. Then in the description I noticed it said, sold by national auction by SDO, this and that. Back then I was thinking, bruv, like, what are they even talking about? So I called the estate agents and they essentially said that, it's being sold by auction. Like, it's not sold to the open market. Like, it's an auction house that's occurring. I think they said it was August 25th, I think it was. And so I went to the viewing. I had to like register all of my details to the auctioneer's website. Yeah. So that on the day of the auction, all of essentially my details and that were in place, so that if I were to become successful in acquiring the property, you could literally move on straight away. So I went, I did all of that now, and then So in essence, it was literally just Rightmove. Like I didn't go out of my way to look for an auction house. It was just marketed on Rightmove.
Wow, that is a touch.
Yeah.
So how have you approached, I guess, risk management with this refurb?
You know what, risk management? I wouldn't necessarily say I had risk, like any forms of mitigating risks per se. It was just kind of going with how things went and just praying that nothing went too crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of the contractors and whatnot, the builders, how did you find those?
I consider myself lucky because I know one older guy. He has like, I think like 5, 6 houses. He's even about to build 2 flats. Like he bought land and he's about to build flats. And the builder that I'm using currently, he has been using him for years. So when I told him about my idea of wanting to buy a house, he put me in touch with like a mortgage broker, his solicitors, his builders as well. Essentially, his entire power team he just gave to me, and he told them to essentially look after me because like he's known me for a while, this and that, and that's how I got that through ball in essence to the builder. And it's funny because I was speaking to the builder a couple weeks ago, and he literally told me like if it weren't for the guy that I knew putting me through to him, he would have bumped me differently. Like he would have overcharged me for the works that he quoted me for. So yeah, like having a referral is always gonna help, especially with builders and contractors. They can just take the piss, especially if you're young as well and you seem somewhat inexperienced. They will take advantage of it. It's kind of like vultures.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So moving forward, do you think you're going to continue using a builder that subcontracts or find, I guess, people yourself?
For the next couple, yeah. So I'm going to use a main contractor that just deals with everything, because I don't know fully like A to Z on what needs to get done within a house. So I would rather a contractor that does know everything take the lead on doing what needs to be done, and then once I am confident enough to fully take care of everything myself, I am going to project manage my own flip properly. So just getting in individual trades. I think after the next house I buy, I'm trying to buy 2 more after this one. After one of them, the third one, I'm just going to self-manage and get individual trades in just for the experience.